are you physically going into?
I'm excited, man. I'm good. Crowd's gonna be lit. You know, we gotta take care of home court.
So how are you physically?
I'm good. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good game tonight. I'm excited.
Donovan, with obviously 3 of your teammates questionable, just what's the mindset on you guys, dealing with those injuries, whether those guys can play or not? What are you telling guys as a leader of the team?
The biggest thing is we gotta stay ready. We've done it all year. Obviously, if they don't play, you're losing a lot of points, a lot of defense, a lot of talent. And if they do, we're right back to where we were. But for us, just continue to stay ready. We have faith in everybody in this locker room. We've done it all year. So the biggest thing is just be ready. I always tell guys, prepare for the worst. Prepare that they're not playing so you're mentally locked in and sharp. And if they do, then that's an added bonus. That's how we are locked in for it. And I don't really know how they're actually doing, but I'm always prepared for the worst and just getting ready. But we have a group that's ready to go, and we're ready to go.
You said you were going to look back at your shots from game one, and just kind of what you like your decision making and not. What did you think when reviewing the film? And you guys are shorthanded. So just kind of what's the balance? You obviously want to do more versus.
Yeah, I wasn't really upset with I think a lot of it. I mean, the half-court heaves don't help, but no, like. A lot of it is, I miss some shots I make. If I really want to break it down, I missed an easy layup and then I dropped the ball. That's a shot attempt. That's two. Like if you really want to break it down, which is why I ended up doing it. So it's nothing to really overthink. Just keep being aggressive. Keep making plays. If that calls for me shooting, that calls for me shooting. It calls for me passing, calls for me passing. But I felt that when I was talking to y'all. But now watching the film, I feel the same way. I'm not upset about it. Understand that you got to do whatever it takes and try to be aggressive. And then, like I said, I missed some shots that I typically make too.
So when you guys have struggled defensively, in part to over-helping on the defensive end, how do you prevent that? What is it mentally that you have to slow down in the game to?
I think our intensity. I think we, it was really easy for them to go side to side. And granted, they play fast, and you got to give them credit for sure. But I think our physicality, our intensity, ultimately changes things as well. And I think that's the biggest thing for us. Trying to be physical, trying to set the tone, but you got to give them credit as well at their pace and they're continuing to move freely. But that wasn't what we were able to do. Obviously, it's a different team, different series. But for the first 4 games of the playoffs, we were physical. We were trying to, different things. So just trying to, up that and be ready to go.
Where do you need that physicality to show the most?
On the defensive end, like, on ball, screens, pressure on the ball. Like, we saw it in the third. Like, you saw it in spurts. I think for us, just continuing to do it and starting off that way. That's really what it is. And that's really what, when you look back at it, that's what, is upsetting the most because we've been that team throughout the whole season. So just kind of slippage in that regard, but we'll be ready to go.
How did their pace feel to you on the court versus like what you were preparing for behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to prepare for that pace. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to, replicate that in practice. I think obviously going through it, getting a feel for it is obviously good. And, like I said, they're unique. They're the only team that really runs like that in the playoffs. So for us, just kind of, like I said, hammering down on our principles. Not so much just trying to adjust to what they do. But like I said, I always give the team credit, for coming in and sticking to what they do and doing it at a high level, and we'll be ready for it tonight.
Donovan, you guys had that 20-4 run in the second half the other night. It was such a great stretch of basketball being played. How do you do that now for 4 quarters against that team?
Just be mentally, ready for war. Like to be tired, to be banged up, to be all those different things. And it was great to see that because you had something to compare to the first half to. I think that's something that we can use, whether it's getting out on misses, pushing the pace, setting screens, getting downhill. And then even still in that run, we missed some shots, some good looks too in that. So understand that, keep taking our shots, keep doing what we do, keep getting downhill, and then our defensive intensity rose as well.
I know you guys are focused on yourselves, but just to look around and see, Boston losing last night, OKC losing last night. What's kind of the internal conversation like surrounding that?
We all suck. No.
Does it relieve any pressure in a way?
No.
Like, you don't have to be perfect.
I mean, I think for us, we were, I'm not gonna. It's easy to sit here and say, yeah, we're focused on ourselves, but we see it. You know what I mean? But also, even after the loss yesterday, I didn't feel like guys were hanging their head or even like, understand this is gonna be a series. I told y'all like. We weren't going 16-0 in the playoffs. Like, you know what I'm saying? We were going to lose at some point. Like, it's just how do we respond to that? But, it's kind of one of those things where maybe to the average fan is like, oh, freaking out, all the Cavs lost. Well, I mean, it happens. This is the playoffs. Like I said, it's really hard to go 16-0 throughout the playoffs. But for us, as far as internally, I think it's more so like understanding that we knew that this was going to be a tough team to beat, and we just got to be ready and locked in. But I think for the outside world, I think us three losing, I think, is definitely something that people are like, oh, but like for us internally, we're good and we're ready for game 2.
Especially with the bodies being down, how beneficial is it that you guys are able to play like different styles in the way that you did this year? It wasn't just like kind of one-trick pony type of deal.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, and I want to give Kenny his credit for obviously winning Coach of the Year. Like, he got that award because he, took our team. Obviously we were 46, 47 win, 48 win team. But like for us to change styles, I want to say drastically, and then also to be able to disperse it through different people every night, you know what I mean? And tonight's going to be somebody different, tomorrow, next game will be somebody different. Like, it's so unpredictable every night, and I think that's what makes our group special. And like you said, if guys are out, that shows up even more in these scenarios. So we're excited and we're ready for tonight.
You guys had 70 points in the paint. Is that an area you guys think you can exploit kind of moving forward?
Yeah, I think when you look at the film, just being able to get downhill and just create indecisions, and then when you get in there, finishing your shots. Like, I miss some easy ones. Like, just from watching, it's like, man, like you got to capitalize, because if you don't, they're gone. You know what I mean? And sometimes that missed 2 turns into a 3 for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So definitely trying to attack and just be aggressive. And whether that's getting into the paint, scoring, throwing a lob, creating, closeout situations, that's going to be key.
Can you use the word just playing with force? Is that more than physicality? Is there a difference between?
Yeah, I think it's just a level of urgency. I think the last time I remember him talking about that was probably the Clipper game. I remember the Clipper game, we were kind of going through our little spell or whatever, and you felt it right away. And I think that's what we saw. And we had done it really for the 4 games against Miami. I think game 1 was just different. We didn't come out that way, and that's on us. We look ourselves in the mirror and come back and be ready for tonight. Thank you.